guys, so today's video is going to be a book review on the book Passion. It is the third book in the Fallen series by Lauren Kate. This is the cover of the book. It is a little bit different than the last two. You still don't really see her face. You see a little bit more of her face. I don't know if you can see that up close. Yeah, that's how it looks like up close. But this is probably my least favorite cover of the three. It's just, I don't know. There's just something about it that I don't really like. I mean, it's pretty, but it's just, I don't know. It's just not as pretty as the last two. Definitely not as pretty as the fourth book. And it's got the whole, like, it connects on the other side. And I actually have this book this time. My sister hasn't gotten to this one yet. Okay, so this book leaves off exactly where the last one left off. Luce has stepped through the announcer, and she's traveling back in time, basically, jumping from, you know, lifetime to lifetime, you know, trying to find out the reasons why her and Daniel love each other, because she doesn't have a basis for that right now, in her lifetime. And so the book, basically that's all it is she's jumping from lifetime to lifetime. She learns something kind of from each lifetime that she visits. There's probably about, I should have counted, like 15 maybe or so, maybe more, lifetimes that she visits. And each time she jumps to a new lifetime, she goes farther and farther back in time. So I think we go, I don't even know how far back we go. I don't even know what it means. But yeah, anyways. And so you have a chapter of Luce in that lifetime, and then the next chapter is of Daniel following her in that lifetime. So you kind of see his perspective, and you see a lot more of Daniel in this book, because he's basically half the book. In the first two, you didn't really see a lot of Daniel. You know, you didn't really get to know him as a person or as an angel, I guess. So at least for me, I didn't really fall in love with Daniel like you're supposed to. I just didn't really feel for him as a character. So I was really, really happy that you got to see a lot more of Daniel in this book. And those chapters are from his perspective as well, because Luce isn't there. So he's trying to chase her throughout time as she's trying to go farther and farther back in time and figure out, you know, what her lives were like, what her past lives were like, and her family, and just, you know, she just wants to learn about herself. We see, you know, all the other characters along the way as well. At least not the two Nephilim. We don't see Shelby and Miles, but we do see, you know, Ariane and Roland and Cam and Molly and Gabby. Not the present day selves, but we see them in the past. So Luce runs into them as, you know, she runs into her past self, but she also runs into those angels as well in the past, because they all kind of hang around each other. I don't really know why, like, maybe they just all kind of became best friends. I don't know why there's like the only like 7, 6, 5, I don't know how many angels I just said, but they all kind of hang around each other and are there to protect Luce and Dan. Like, she hasn't really, Lauren Kate really hasn't explained why, like, it's just them and not any other angels, and why they kind of just hang around Luce all the time. It's kind of strange, but anyways, so yeah, I mean, it's a really fun book. Like, you get to see a lot of different things. I mean, in some lifetimes she's, you know, the daughter of like some like high-end person. I'm thinking of like the first one, which is Halston, England, in like the 19-somethings or whatever, where she's like this snotty, bratty, rich girl, whatever. And then you know, in some she's very, very poor, and like the Mayan, she ends up being like a sacrifice or something like that. Like when she goes back to the Mayan era, and just, I don't know, there's a lot of lifetimes that she goes through. And along the way, after probably like the second or third lifetime that she goes through, in her announcer she hears a voice, and it's this little gargoyle type person who says that he is like a guide through the announcers, and so he helps her a lot along the way. You know, helps her learn more about announcer travel and how it works, and how to go to the lifetimes that you actually want to see, you know, to find out more about what her life was about. So he helps her a lot along the way. It helps her a lot to learn, you know, about what her lives were like. And along the way, Daniel kind of has his own realizations about the curse and, you know, what it all means and how to keep the Luce that he has in this life, in, you know, present day lifetime alive. And he just learns a lot about himself along the journey. So yeah, it was nice to see him throughout this book. And we do learn about a lot more about Luce's and Daniel's love. I bookmarked 2, what was I going to say, quotes in this book that I kind of wanted to read. This first quote is it's 150 pages in, but it is kind of basically the whole premise of this book. It says, this is Luce speaking, "I need to see that he loves me, not just some idea of me because of some curse he's bound to. I need to feel like there's something stronger keeping us together, something real." So that's basically what what she's searching for in the whole entire book. And she kind of finds it, you know, and she learns to, you know, feel what Daniel's feeling, because she sees him, what he goes through when she dies every single, you know, in every single lifetime. She sees it, and he's heartbroken, and she, you know, she realizes that he really does love her, which is what this next quote is about. This is Luce as well. Okay, let me see. This is kind of just her like thoughts, kind of like the narrator. It says, and more importantly, without all the knowledge that Luce has amassed so far in her quest, she has seen Daniel's unbridled glory in Chichen Itza, don't know where that is. She has witnessed and finally understood the depths of his curse in London. She'd seen him go from suicidal in Tibet to saving her from a rotten life in Versailles. She watched him sleep through the pain of her death in Persia as if he were under a spell. She'd seen him fall for her even when she was a snotty and immature in Helston. She touched the scars of his wings in Milan and understood how much he'd given up in heaven just for her. She's seen the tormented look in his eyes when he lost her in Moscow, the same misery over and over. So she learned that it's not just the curse, he's in love with her. And I think, we haven't learned this, but I think that their love came before the curse, you know. So they were in love with each other before this curse even happened. So yeah, that's basically it. If you want to see how the end of the book turned out, what my thoughts are about it, keep watching. If not, click out of the video right now. Okay, so spoiler time. We find out that the little gargoyle-y type thing is actually Lucifer, and he has been tricking her, which I don't really understand though, because he was actually really helping her and she learned a lot from him, so I don't really know why he was so helpful towards her. But anyways, he tried to get her to kill herself when she was in the Mayan temple, I think it was, or no. I'm not really sure. It was like the Shitsu Itsu or something. I can't remember. But he tried to get her to kill herself, and she decided not to. That she decided that her love for Daniel was more important than, you know, never having to see him again, because he said that, Lucifer said that her soul would die, and she would return back to present day, and they wouldn't have the curse anymore, but she wouldn't be tied to Daniel anymore, and so she would kind of let him, you know, let him free. And she thought about doing it because, you know, how much she'd seen her hurt him over the years, and she hated his misery that she had put him through, or what she thinks he'd put him through. But she decided not to do it because she realizes that Daniel really, really does love her, and it's not a curse for him, because he gets to be with her over and over and over again, and see her fall in love with him over and over and over again, and be in love with her, and it just outweighs everything that he has to go through. So yeah, you find out that he's Lucifer, and he decides to take Luce to when the fall actually happened, and he wants to turn back like time. So he wants to open up a giant announcer when all of the angels fall. He wants to open up a giant announcer, and all of the angels will fall through the announcer, and they will be put into present day. And so all of that time from the fall to present day, it's like it's just completely erased. And so, and then he will like cleave with himself, which I didn't tell you about. It's like joining with your past self, like stepping into their body. He will cleave with his present self, and he will be able to negotiate like with all the fallen angels to kind of go back to his side, because some of them didn't choose him, like half of them didn't choose him or whatever. And so he thinks he'll be able to persuade all of them and do it differently this time, and persuade all of those angels to join his side instead of heaven's side of, you know, the fight. And so he's basically wants to erase everything that's happened, centuries and centuries of, you know, lifetimes. And yeah, that's what his whole plan was in getting Luce, you know, traveling with Luce. Daniel, on the other hand, he thinks that he is going to go back to the point, and this is where it made me mad. Like, I thought we were going to be able to see all the way back into like when Luce and Daniel first met, and that's where Daniel was headed. And then this little gargoyle thing, which claimed to be like the scale, opens up an announcer for Daniel and says that this is where this announcer is going to lead to, and he gets tricked and actually ends up at the fall where all the angels fall. And he realizes that he is the one who needs to set this new, like, I don't know what you call it, like, the thing that makes it so Luce doesn't die. He's the one who initiates the loophole. He's the one who initiates the loophole in the curse by going back in time. And he goes back, and everybody's, you know, his past selves and all of the angels see him, and Lucifer and God see him when he's making when they're cursing Daniel because he chose love instead of choosing a side. He chose love for Luce over everything else. And so God curses Daniel that he, you know, his love was going to die every 15 years when she realizes the choice that he has made for her. That's when she'll die. And so Daniel says that you're forgiving God or whatever, and God puts this loophole in the system saying that if she is not baptized and has a choice made for her, then like his curse will be over or whatever. And that's what happened. She's not baptized anymore. But somehow there's more to the story. Like she kind of made it seem like there's a lot more to the story that we don't really know about. Obviously, because we never even saw why, like, the fall, like why they had to make the choice between heaven or hell in the first place, like all the angels. So yeah, that's, you know, the loophole happened. And so and then all of the angels fall, like that all happens, and all the angels fall, and then Daniel catches Luce, and Lucifer like flies off, and they open up an announcer, and they go to present day, and they go back to that cabin that Luce went to after Sword and Cross, the battle at Sword and Cross, and they're all back in present day, all of the angels, all of the Nephilim, and they're like, well, why, if Lucifer did this, why hasn't time caught up with itself? And, you know, why didn't everything get erased? Well, it's because the fall took 9 days. The angels fell for 9 days. And so they have 9 days to stop Lucifer from catching all the fallen angels in his announcer and bringing them to present day. So, yeah. Long explanation. Anyways, I liked this book, but I definitely didn't like it as much as the first two. When I first read the book, I was expecting to find out why Daniel and Luce loved each other when they first loved each other, because it's like 3 freaking books and you still don't have a basis for Daniel and Luce's love. You still don't really know why. I mean, you kind of find out a little bit. You see them, you know, you see them through their past lives, but you don't really find out what first made them fall for each other. You know, and it's kind of annoying, like, you expected that, and at least we got to see the fall and, like, find out a little bit more about her curse, but I was really kind of annoyed that we still didn't have a basis for Daniel and Luce's love, so that's why, when I first read it, that was my thoughts on it. When I read it the second time, I knew that that wasn't going to happen, so I kind of enjoyed it a little bit more, because I wasn't expecting that to happen, and I wasn't disappointed in the end. However, I did get kind of bored. in the last few chapters. Just because, not like the last one where the fall happens, but her last few lifetimes, just because it's like, it kind of just dragged on and on and on. Like, we could have chopped off some of those lifetimes and not, she didn't need to write about some of them because they just got kind of boring. And maybe it's because I had already read the book and I knew what was going to happen, so I just kind of wanted to get to the end. But yeah, that's kind of how I felt at the end of this book. Okay, so my next review is going to be on the in-between book called Fallen in Love. I'm actually reading it right now, but by the time I post this, I will probably be done with it. And probably be done with Rapture as well. But anyways, see, I'm about like a quarter of the way through the book. And it's kind of an in-between book, like I said in my first video, where it's love stories with Daniel, like Daniel, Luce, Ariane, Roland, Miles, and Shelby, I think are the 5 or 4. Yeah. 6. No. Yes. So, wow, I can't count. 6 people, 6 beings that the book revolves around, and on Valentine's Day. So it's kind of, I think it's set back in, I should really stop talking about this book. I just realized because I'm going to tell you about it in my next review anyways. And I'm rambling. Oh my god, I need to stop talking. Okay, goodbye guys. Oh my god, why can't I not stop talking? Oh. Really? Really, Brittany? You ate your book? Seriously? How you do that thing? No, wait. No. There we go! Got it! Box time. Okay, goodbye.